Chair 9B, the DBM promised us or the NEDA promised us na titignan nila yung AIX at TUPAD kasi ang tingin nila a part of AIX TUPAD already goes to, may I ask quickly lang, more or less, magkano ang AIX at saka TUPAD?
Sa AIX po, it's 27 billion. Ang TUPAD po is 10 billion.
Wala ho tayong mahabang pag-uusapan dito mga kabit. Kasi nga ho, nagsasalita na naman ho ang isa ho nating paborito dyan sa minority. Walang iba ho kundi si Senator Alan Cayetano. Dito mga kabit, sinabi ho kasi niya rito na itong NEDA sisilipin ang budget netong AIX at TUPAD. Kasi mga kabit, itong ating mga kababayan dyan, meron ho kasing hindi nakakaalam na ganyan pala kalaking pondo. Pag pinagsama ho kasi natin itong pondo nitong AIX at TUPAD mga kabit, aabot daw ho ng kulang-kulang 40 billion pesos. Kaya mga kabit, kailangan ho nating silipin, malaman kung saan nga naman napupunta ang malalaking pondo. Kasi mantakin ho ninyo yun. Diba ito hong TUPAD? Ito yung mga ating kababayan na nagwawalis dyan sa gilid ng daan. Yan ho yung mga yan. Pero tingin nyo ho ba, ilang bilyon ang kanilang pondo? Kaya mga dit, alamin na ho natin yan dito sa nag-iisang Alan Cayetano. Kaya mga dit, isang like, isang share, isang subscribe lamang ho. Malaking tulong na ho. Iyan, rekta na ho tayo.
Corruption pero sa ghost projects and you know, and how did we get here, diba? We all ask that. But with that outrage, it's not a simple call to do one or two things, diba? Hindi lang ibalik ang pera, hindi lang ikulong ang korap. Kasama din dyan yung tunay na pagbabago, transformation, diba? Change that leads to real transformation. So every single budget has to have a vision. And for example, sa DPWH, nag-start yung vision kay Duterte, build, build, build. Kay President Marcos, build better, more, no? So the point I want to make is that dahil napaka-extraordinary ng circumstance, ng atmosphere, ng problema, dapat game changer din yung budget. Again, hindi tayo matatapos kung isa-isahin natin at I want to acknowledge si Chairman Win mismo may mga innovations na gusto. But as he said, may limitations, whether by law, whether by practice, whether by fiscal space, no? So I want to mention three areas that I think are game changers. And if we look at the past, di ba? It is only humbling if we listen. If we look at the past and sabi nga ni Einstein, just keep doing the same thing, insanity yon. If we keep doing the same thing, then expect a different result. Insanity yon, di ba? So kung sasabihin natin, dati may corruption, ngayon lumaki. Kasi if we keep doing the same thing, lalong lalaki at mangyayari talaga ito. So, for example, Mr. President, no, Mr. President, can I show some slides? 4 lang naman to, no, Mr. President, with your permission, Mr. Chairman, no. So, I think apektado din nung tubig. So what the slide will show actually is the population density, people per square, inhabitants per square kilometer in accordance with the 2020 census. Makikita nyo po yung NCR, 21,765. Ang pinakamalapit na is Region 4A, 977 lang. So can you imagine that? From 21,000 inhabitants per square kilometer to 977. Then the third is Region 3, it's 567. And then ang pinakamaliit is CAR 1991. Ayan yung chart, no? So the point I want to make here, Mr. Chair, is that one of the root of our problems is rapid urbanization. 'Di ba? Yung lumilipat lahat. Can I show the next slide? So makikita nyo po, napakaliit na lugar, Region 3, Metro Manila, Calabarzon, compared to the whole area of the Philippines, 39% of our population nandyan lang sa maliit na lugar na yan. So whether you talk about health, whether you talk about sanitation, water, electricity, traffic, yan ang isang cause. So kahit anong gawa mo pa ng kalye dyan, trains are better, pero kahit gumawa ka ng train, kahit anong flood control mo, if we continue doing this, hindi magbabago. Which goes to the second game changer. So the first game changer is rural development. Diba? Rural development ang gamit nila before. Let me just use that term. Very simple. Tubig, kuryente, internet, schools, and hospitals. Of course, jobs. If you have those 5 things plus jobs in the rural areas, hindi lahat magsisiksikan sa Metro Cebu, Metro Manila, Calabarzon, Bulacan, sa mga highly urbanized cities, di ba? So sa Europe, pag sinabi mong rural, may kuryente, may tubig, may internet, may ecotourism, may agritourism, etc. So it's a choice. Do you want the crowded city or you want the rural? Sa Pilipinas, pag sinabi mong urban, mayaman, may libreng gamot dyan, may scholarships dyan, aircon yung ibang schools. Pero pag rural, kahirapan. So we have to change that. So which goes to my second point. The local government have shown themselves, and I recognize the representatives that are here today, di ba? The mayors, the governors, hanggang sa barangay captains. Hindi naman sa walang corrupt sa local government. Pero kung yung pera ng flood control napunta sa local government, malabong magkaroon ng ghost o malabong ganong kalaki yung ghost. Pangalawa, malabong magkaroon ng mismatch sa gagastusan sa pangangailangan. Yes, may pamumulitika whether it's on the national local government, but the reality is mas alam ng local government yung kanilang kailangan. So that's the second area na may malaki akong propose na amendment. And the third area is stunting o yung pagkabansot, di ba? Kasi kahit maayos natin ang pinakamagandang budget, libre lahat ng education from kindergarten to college, kung stunted na hindi lang yung growth but yung mental, may mental stunting na, wala na siyang gagawin sa scholarship na college. Ganon din sa health. You can have the best health system, anti-cancer, lahat ng pinakamagagandang ospital, tertiary. Pero kung stunted na yung bata, limited na yung pwede niyang gawin, no? So the first, can I go to the next slide? So the first amendment, Mr. President, is dun sa 200 plus billion plus the 50 billion na tinanggal ng House at saka ng Senate sa DPWH, idiretso na natin sa mga provinces, cities, and municipalities. If we give 1 billion per province, that's 82 billion, 500 million for the 149 highly urbanized cities, and 50 million for the 1,500, a little bit over, municipalities, that's only 231 billion. May matitira pa na 7 billion. So I know this is a radical proposal, but it also is a game changer. So I do know, Mr. Chairman, that we have allocated the 300 billion. No? The House has allocated the 260 ba? 255?
Mga 140 some, 140.
But since we are only considering it, may I submit this to the chairman for the consideration the committee. If not this year, I'm hoping this year. But if not, we will consider it in the future, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Alan. At napag-usapan ho natin to during the plenary debate, especially the stunting. And you've been very consistent. Lahat po ng agency na pwedeng magresolba ng stunting ay pinapaalala ninyo na dapat ito ay bigyan ng pansin. No? Dahil tama kayo, kasi pag lumampas po sila ng 4 years old, 5 years old, stunted sila, mas mahihirapan na sila mag-aral. So I really appreciate your efforts in solving this. In fact, this is an EDCOM proposal to resolve our malnutrition and stunting issue. So your proposal are deemed submitted for the consideration of the body, and we will definitely look at this very seriously.
Thanks for the acknowledgement, I appreciate it, Mr. Chair, but actually pare-pareho naman tayong spokesman lang dito, no?
Yeah.
May mga NGOs talaga at saka
Tama
mga
ho kayo.
champions who've been fighting for it for such a long time. I think Senator P has a list of those health advocates, but you know, it's a privilege to be able to push for it, and I must admit that sa daming chairman ng appropriation sa House at sa Finance, no, you've really given me the full attention on this issue. So I have smaller amendments there. I think Senator Pia is standing. May I?
Yes.
I will yield.
Yes. If with the permission of the two gentlemen, just two very quick items to add to the discussion. Regarding the population density that Senator Alan showed us, just to put on record that following the Sustainable Development Goals, the data tells us that by the year 2050, 2/3 of the population will be living in cities. So I go back to your proposal, and as His Honor had said, he defers to the chairman when and how much time it will be needed to take a look at these numbers, to consider these things, because 2/3 of the population. So in as much as we want to support everyone from Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, all over, but 2/3 of the population by 2050, and currently 55% are said to be living in the major cities. So it's not just NCR, it's the major cities all over the country. That's my first point. My second point regarding stunting, I just want to inform His Honor, because I also support the issue on stunting. Stunted growth is largely irreversible after the first 1,000 days. So the first 1,000 days is so important. And for the information of the body, uunahan ko na si Chairman, he supported our amendment. It is also his amendment, so there's many of us who support it. The Chairman added 900 million to, I think, practically double the amount that is given to mothers in the first 1,000 days. From 350 pesos, it's just 350 pesos a month. So if you wonder why are they stunted, I don't really know that you can seriously affect stunting with 350 pesos a day. That's 10 pesos a day. So, but now with this additional funding, it will grow to 750 pesos a day. Inunahan na kita, Mr.
1KD.
Chairman.
I think the program is called 1KD. F1KD.
Yes.
Yeah.
Under Pantawid Pamilya pa rin yan.
So, Mr. Chairman, quick slides lang sa stunting. Can you go to the first slide? So, pag tinig natin prevalence, meaning hindi lang ito yung potential. Ito talaga yung nangyayari. It's higher than 25%. It's 27%. At yun ang sinabi ng DOH at saka ng mga official, no? Pero meron kaming interactive map na web-based. Hindi ko na papakita today because of lack of time, but it's really higher than 27%. Having said that, that's 1 out of 4 of Filipinos, di ba? So are we willing that 20 years from now, 30 years from now, di ba? So kung 0 to 1,000, di ba? Yung ngayon, the next 3 years, are we willing that 18 years from now, 21 years from now, yung young adults natin, 1 out of 4 of them cannot reach their full potential because of this? Next slide. So the proposal sa amendments, Mr. Chairman, as Senator Pia said, as all the experts have said, as you yourself has said, di ba, na you're willing to, Sec Sani has also said, Sec Rex, you're willing to put money, you're willing to spend, pero kailangan effective. So hindi natin pinopropose wild amounts of 50 billion, 100 billion kung hindi natin sure, no? Pero sa mga lugar na to, BARM, Soc-Sargent, Zamboanga Peninsula, Mimaropa, and Davao region. Davao lang yung below 30 pero more or less nasa 30. I'd like to propose yung hindi na pondohan sa DOH na 2.4 billion ay lagyan ng amount, but because nga of certain doubts on the effectivity of DOH doing it alone, let's say if you put 3 billion, I'd rather that 1 billion be in LGSF, 1 billion be in DSWD, 1 billion in DOH, or if it's 3 billion, if it's 1.5 billion, that take 500 million, one program pa rin, pero different yung sources ng pagkukunan. Maganda sa LGSF, mahigpit yung guidelines, tapos yung mayor ang diretsong governor o
Mag-apply.
kukuha, di ba? Ang maganda naman sa DSWD, medyo kuwang-kuha na ni Secrex yung whether it's sa AIX, di ba? Kasi, I mean, I don't know officially now, but we should consider those in danger of stunting to be in crisis, di ba? So that's one amendment. Just one last slide there, then I'll move on. Ano yung last slide dyan? So yung yes, 0 to 5 years old, pero makikita mo yung dalawang 0 to 5 years old, tapos pinaka-importante, first 1,000 days. Dalawang nakikita ko sa chart na to, ano? Yung pagka nabuntis na. So as soon as, well, sana alam niya na kagad, nabuntis siya, because the sooner na alam niyang buntis siya and she goes to the health center and may prenatal and everything, di ba? Mas alaga yung nanay at mas alaga yung anak. So, but makikita mo, 0 to 5 years old, 23%. So 0 to 5 months, 15%. Half of the yung danger na 30%. But makikita mo, from 6 to 11 months, bumababa nga eh. So mukhang yung ating barangay health workers, yung ating nutrition scholars, yung ating barangay DOH, at saka yung mga cities, municipalities, yung health centers are doing their job. But pagdating sa 1 to 2 years old, 30% biglang tumataas. So nutrition is the major factor there. May I ask quickly lang, more or less, magkano ang AIX at saka tupad?
20, tupad. Ang sa AIX po, it's 27 billion. Ang tupad po is 10 billion.
So more or less 40 billion, no?
30, yeah, more or
Yeah.
less.
Because sa LEDAC, I'm not sure, please correct me. I think you were there, Mr. Chair, when we had one LEDAC and Senator JV was really pushing for a 3,000 per month para sa barangay health workers.
Yes, I remember.
And ang total is somewhere 9B. The DBM promised us or the NEDA promised us na titignan nila yung AIX at tupad kasi ang tingin nila a part of AIX tupad already goes to barangay health workers because volunteers sila. So
volunteer category.
please consider a special provision that 20% ng tupad at AIX goes to barangay health workers. That will fulfill 8 of the 9 billion. May monthly na sila. And with the monthly, it's still very small, 3 billion, di ba? Ang isang concern ng executive department dito is that ang daming volunteers sa barangay, hindi ba lahat ng volunteers will be asking for sweldo? But when I dug deeper into the stunting, ang kaibahan naman kasi, for example, Tanod, mostly volunteer. Of course, peace and order is important. Pero may swelduhan tayong police. May swelduhan tayong NBI. May swelduhan tayo sa mga munisipyo na poso, di ba? Pero sa grassroots level, walang swelduhan pagdating sa nutrition at saka sa pagtitimbang sa mga bata, pag-i-inform sa mga nanay, etc. No? And as a former mayor, and there are several former executive, Senator Jinggoy, Senator JV were former mayors. Senator Soto, our Senate President, was a former vice mayor. I was a former vice mayor. Sila talagang nasa grassroots eh. So I think kung bibigyan talaga natin minimum allowance pero kung pwede nga sweldo, I think it will magkakadent talaga sa stunting.
Yeah.
So may I ask you to consider those two amendments. No? One, yung to have part of AIX and tupad so that it's not a new product, not a new program. Yeah. So either we increase tupad by another 9 billion and it goes to the health workers, or 20% of the existing is to the health workers, no? So the other amendment is yung magkaroon ng pondo, DOH, LGSF, DSWD, maybe sa LGSF pwedeng konting equipment din para sa barangay health workers kung kulang sila sa mga modern equipment para magbahay-bahay, lalo po sa mga pregnant? So Mr. President, yun lang yung aking major, kung major na amendments. Can I quickly go to some that are important but not necessarily major? Before I left as speaker, actually nasa committee report to pero napalitan. Camp Development Fund, 10 billion for, at that time 5 billion nilagay namin. 10 billion for AFP, 10 billion for PNP. Right now, may konti sila sa DPWH, but usually they depend on the congressman or the governor, mayor to help them. So, marami sa mga kampo, may informal settlers o kaya hindi na fully utilized. Pero kung bibigyan natin ng lump sum, pwedeng may annex din, katulad ng HPEP, ang police at saka AFP. And if it's yearly, maplaplano nila in the next 5 years kung paano nila mapapaganda yung kampo. This is not only for security, kasama na dito yung para sa kanilang physical well-being, mental well-being. It could also be for clinics. It could also be, you know, for example, when you go to Camp John Hay, di ba? May golf course, may bowling, may Protestant church, may Muslim mosque, may evangelical churches, may officers club and everything. So sa Pilipinas, hinihintay ng mga anak na yung police at saka militar umuwi. Sa mga US bases, gusto nga nilang bumisita sa kampo kung hindi sila doon nakatira kasi lahat ng facilities na sa kampo. So we have several camps all over the Philippines that are beautiful pero walang pondo pang gawa. So may please consider that.
May na-allocate tayo, Senator, Minority Leader Senator Alan, about 2.7 billion for various repairs ng mga barracks nila, mga covered court inside the camp. But admittedly, in 3 billion.
Those are very important. Pero realistically, repairs, etc., it doesn't really develop. It fixes it up. No?
Ano lang for yung regular
I
maintenance.
Personally, in the past, sa Camp Bagong Diwa, napakarami kasi may jail, but I don't usually help there. Mostly sa drug rehab and sa SAF. And then now meron na crime lab. Usually naman pag sinimulan mo, itutuloy-tuloy ng DPWH. Pero I think if it's a lump sum, kung hindi kayang 10 billion, 1 billion, 2 billion, but if it's a lump sum and ang magplaplano nito ay hindi DPWH kung hindi yung mismong commanders, di ba? Which goes kasi to my next amendment. I proposed this during when I was Secretary of Foreign Affairs, na yung ating mga engineering brigades sa military, I think specifically sa Army, bigyan ng equipment para by administration ang gawin ng mga project kasi maganda ng civil relation, anti-insurgency. Tapos ngayon kasi by contract, nakakalimutan natin na meron din by administration. No? Isabay ko na rin, Senwin, kasi ang proposal, one, bumili ng mga dredging machines ang DPWH at ipagamit to sa mga mayor at governors para anti-flood. Pero mas makakamura ang DPWH kasi yung maintenance at saka yung tao pwedeng sa ano kasi by administration. Same thing, if we buy the right equipment for the engineering brigades ng military, they can use it. So actually, China gave us equipment. Unfortunately, binigay sa DPWH instead of they kept it sa engineering brigade. So the chief of staff told me they have 4 or 5 ata, pero yung isa gagawin nilang combat engineering. So may actual silang 4 So nabanggit na may ghost project sa AFP, hindi sila yung gumawa. But can you imagine kung may pondo for materials, for training for their engineers, tapos may equipment sila. So may I submit this proposed amendment?
Tama ho kayo dahil also marami na ring agencies requesting in their special provision to allow them to tap into the military engineering brigade, for example, FMR roads, classrooms, kasi ayaw nila matali lang sa DPWH. So this bodes well to those mga proposals ng agency.
And Mr. Chair, Mr. President, it will bring the military closer to the grassroots. But at the same time, it will attract engineers. Di ba kung gusto mo sa gobyerno, usually DOTR, DPWH, maybe some other agencies, but yung iba gusto mag-militar din eh.
Yep.
So in the same manner that we tried to attract sa Jago at sa medical, di ba, doctors, lawyers, pagka in-equip natin yung mga engineering brigades, it will attract professionals or young people who want to be engineers but also want to be in the military.
Correct. Tama.
I didn't consult yung police, pero kung meron din engineering brigade ang police, then why not,
Yeah,
di ba?
Yeah. Alam ko military lang yata ang
Yeah.
ganyan talagang organized.
On that same matter, Mr. President, umoo dito yung Coast Guard. Hindi ko natanong yung military, hindi ako napagtanong sa military. 1 billion each for floating hospitals. Ipapasok pa nila sa sa foreign, I'm not sure if it's ODA or a grant, di ba? But 1 billion pesos, we can spend 1 billion pesos. 1 billion pesos for one floating hospital, given that we're an archipelago and given that we are always in danger. Kung hindi pwedeng dalawa kaagad, isa sa Coast Guard, isa sa military, then one of the two of them. If I'm not mistaken, yes, go ahead, please, Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, maybe not just us to buy brand new, Mr. President, with the permission of the two gentlemen, even if it's not to buy a brand new ship, because the Red Cross donated remember that boat that they had, Save Grace?
Amazing Grace.
Amazing Grace, yeah.
Grace,
It was,
yeah.
the Red Cross donated a nice ship it was actually from the U.S. military, donated to the Philippine Red Cross, and the Red Cross donated it to the Coast Guard. That needs refurbishing. That's a hospital ship. So maybe the terminology, kung i-accept ng chairman, is either brand new or repair of existing hospital ships.
Or sa compromise, di ba?
Yes.
One new one, then refurbishment. But you know, if we did this in the 2020 budget, na-deliver na to ngayon, sayang, di ba? So, next, Mr. President, inamin to ng DOTR, itatali ko lang dun sa pagiging dependent sa foreign aid or sa concessional loans, no? Inamin ng DOTR na ready na sila for phase 1 of the Mindanao Railway System. And we all agree, our majority leaders from Mindanao, Senator Pia brought up sustainability. Nakita nyo yung density and everything. Because like Luzon, Mindanao, at least a big part of Mindanao is one island. Of course, there are several smaller islands. Naghihintay, kompleto na to, feasibility study. Actually, meron na silang mga ibang work on the ground, yung sa right of way. So sabi nila for 10 billion, mauumpisa na nila. At kung sakali man papasok to, let's say sa Japanese, we still have to put up anyway 25%, 25B local counterpart. So parang advance to. Kung hindi man advance, kung ituloy-tuloy na natin in the future, 100B for perspective. 100B is only the subsidy that we plan for the Metro Manila subway every year. So when the Metro Manila subway was planned, between 90 to 100B ang subsidy for the first few years until it becomes very profitable. So can you imagine if we can do the first part nung Mindanao Railway na funded ng Pilipino para sa Pilipino, it also sends a good message to the Chinese, the Japanese, the Koreans, the Australians that thank you, we appreciate your support, we appreciate the ODA and everything, but we're also beginning to do our own work. Kasi kung ganon, yung isa ko kasi sanang gustong special provision din pag yung mga ODA ganyan, kailangan may technology transfer Kasi despite the fact na malapit na tayo maging upper middle class, we still act like beggars Di ba? Kasi sabi nila, pag humihingi ka lang, tumatawad ka, beggars cannot be choosers. Di ba? And nadali na tayo ng World Bank at saka ng IMF in the 60s and 70s. They did a lot of good, but they also did a lot of damage to many third world countries at usually walang technology transfer. One reason China is what it is today because they demanded na pag may investment sa country nila, may technology transfer. I mean, US is US today because also of technology transfer from the UK, no? So going to the next yes, every peso counts. So I do much appreciate the work of additional funds sa DepEd. This is just a manifestation, not an amendment, not a special provision. Until the time that we decide, we have to decide. Kailangan decisive tayo. will we go back to K to 10 or will we fully fund K to 12? Diba? So it's like a dike eh. Diba? Do we repair the dike and make it fully functional or do we find another engineering intervention? Pero yung may butas ang dike at nilalagay lang natin daliri natin, kahit sinasabi natin thank you, 24 tayong senador na may daliri doon, it's still a daliri sa butas. So 70 billion additional, 80 billion additional is no joke. And I congratulate everyone who worked on that. Senator Bam, yourself, the other senators, no, Senator Joel sa TESDA. But really, we have to decide whether K-12 or K-10 muna, then mag K-12 pag kaya na natin, or itodo natin yung funding. Next, ang isang malaking tumutulong sa values, hindi lang DepEd at saka kindergarten, college. Of course, churches, but it's really television. Of course, social media. So may I ask Mr. President, Mr. Chair, if we can put some money on in MTRCB, a small amount, 25-50 million, not too small, for a value orientation program. I've been admiring from afar MTRCB, but ang nangyayari nakakapagsalita lang sila pag may film na maganda o may film or telenovela na pangit ang values or maganda values, tapos nasa TV sila. But if we give them a small amount, they might be creative, whether sa SOCMED or commercials or infomercials about values. And this is, for me, a part of the appreciation to the work that the chairperson and MTRCB are doing. Small amount, pero like anti-corruption, it's really values eh. Diba? Anti-abortion, values yan eh. Yung pamilya, mabuo at wag magkahiwalay yung asawa at mag-asawa, values yan eh. So I hope we can put a small amount sa MTRCB. I'm 100% they'll put good use to it. No?
Minority Leader, magaling po yung MTRCB dahil may pinagmanahan po ang ating Senate President.
Well, kung ano ang puno, yun din ang bunga. Di ba? So, okay, state universities, Mr. President, in the same manner that we have to decide whether K-12 or K-10. Again, ulitin ko I'm not saying mag K-10. Ang sinasabi ko, kung hindi natin fully fund ang K-12, mas mabuti pang K-10. Rather than ngayon, we expect 12 to 9 years education, pero actual 7.5 years lang ang education. Ganon din sa state universities. I won't go to the history. All of us know here the history, paano nagkaroon ng libreng edukasyon. It was a series of compromise and it's good. Pero punong-puno na yung mga state universities, especially after the pandemic. And then kung titignan mo yung unit cost, mababa na talaga eh. So for me, Mr. Chairman, the right amendment is really paano tayo bumalik sa tamang market prices of education and bigyan ng tamang pondo yung state university. So 2 amendments sa state universities. That's one. And I leave it up to you where, but I think you know better than me. Yeah. Yung sinasabi ko nga yung per unit, katulad sa PUP, napakababa na talaga eh. The second one is yung facilities nila. In the same manner that we have the Rojas Law, and we're now going to restart yung pagbibigay ng school buildings, and in the same manner that I've proposed na sana lagyan natin ng TAMP Development Fund, sana may infrastructure fund yung state universities, pero basta't makapagbigay ng master plan or master development plan, may allotment for each and every one. Kasi kung hindi, nangyayari, kanya-kanyang lakad, kanya-kanyang lapit sa governor, sa foreign funding, sa congressman, sa senador. So yes, for example, myself, over the years, and even this year, I might propose some amendments sa DPWH State U or diretso na sa State U. Pero kung may development fund for them, whether it's 10, 20, 5 billion, ang point ko lang, Mr. President, if we can start an amount, so let's say I say dapat 25B kasi mahigit 100. But you say there's no fiscal space. Okay, so be it. Let's start with 2.5B. Let's start with 1B. And if it has to be, 500 million sa rural, 500 million dun sa pinakamarami, or kaya pwedeng sino ba ang basta't meron tayong rating system na reliable, na maganda, o if you meet these requirements, makakakuha ka sa development fund. I'm talking about an infrastructure development fund nung mga, and also for equipment, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. And yung mga recommendations po ni Senator Kiko, Senator JV, Senator Marcoleta, Senator Pia, na magdagdag po ng pondo sa mga SUCs ho natin na ilagay naman ho natin sa committee report.
And to be fair, yung iba are more progressive than others.
Yes.
So meron na silang not only a master plan, program of work, but maganda din kasing training sa lahat. More than 100 state use and several campuses na parang, ang CHED may 5 billion development fund. Pero ito requirement. May master plan kayo, may ganito, may program of work. So nag-aagawan ka sa pag-apply nung pondo na yon, 'di ba? Kasi kung hindi, it really also depends on sino nalalapitan mo, 'di ba? Imagine if the chairman of the Committee on Finance was also the chairperson of CHED sa committee. Siyempre, may natural bias ka doon, 'di ba? The same manner kung DOH ang hawak mo. The last item sa OFWs natin, sa Department of Migrant Workers, no? Katulad na napag-usapan po during the committee level, a big part of their job is diplomacy, or to put it straightforward is PR. 'Di ba, yung the Middle Eastern countries, they love us. They love Filipinos. You talk about Bahrain, Qatar, talk about Saudi Arabia, 'di ba? And katulad ngayon yung kafala system, 'di ba? Finally tinapos nila. But it takes a little bit of puhunan or capital or seed money. So an amount between 25 to 50 million would be a big help. I think Senator Villanueva has more exhaustive amendments sa TESDA and sa migrant workers, no. So the rest, as I said, abutin tayo hanggang bukas kung babasahin ko isa-isa. I wrote a letter to the committee, and then aside from that, there's 1 or 2 points lang sa 6 departments. So whatever we can consider, Mr. President, we would appreciate. Thank you very much,
Maraming
Mr.
salamat,
President.
Minority Leader, and your points are very well taken, at maraming salamat sa mga suggestions and interventions. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, next to propose these amendments is Senator Joel, the Deputy Minority Floor Leader, Senator Joel Villanueva.
Senator Joel.
Mr. President, after which we can do it alphabetical already, with the permission of the body.
Thank you.
So Senator Joel Villanueva.
is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, our distinguished Majority Leader. Mr. President, magandang hapon po, at syempre, unahin ko pong batiin ang ating masipag at napaka-innovative na chairman ng Senate Committee on Finance. Wala hong naiinggit sa kanyang trabaho, lalo na sa mga panahon na ito. Mr. President, we'd like to underscore that these amendments that we wanted to introduce are based on the letters also submitted by various government agencies, most of which, Mr. President, we were able to discuss during the committee hearings, budget briefings, and the interpellations that this representation intervened during the period of interpellations, Mr. President. Mr. President, may I go first with the Department of DICT, Mr. President? I remember it was the good chairperson who sponsored the budget of the Department of Information and Communication Technology. This representation would again reiterate the proposal that this representation made during the interpellation, that we increase the budget for cybercrime prevention, investigation, and the coordination program. The letter from DICT that we received, Mr. President, is an addition of 115,996,000, and this comprised of 107.5 8.596 million in the MOOE and 8.4 million in capital outlays. Mr. President, let me point out the justification, and this was thoroughly discussed during the interpellation of this representation. It restores the budget of cybercrime prevention, investigation, and coordination program. Particularly po, Ginoong Pangulo, yung components covering the formulation, coordination, monitoring of cybercrime plans and policies, as it was already included in the GAB, Mr. President. But this funding, Mr. President, is crucial to ensure that the CICC has the resources it needs to carry out its mandate effectively and to significantly strengthen the nation's ability to prevent, detect, and respond to cybercrimes and cyber threats. Mr. President, during the interpellations, the distinguished sponsor, Senator Gatchalian, clarified that during the time they had a leadership gap, Mr. President, which hindered major procurement activities and the project implementation na naka-apekto po dun sa utilization of the 2025 budget, kaya po na-decrease yung proposal for 2026 budget. Pero during the interpellations, Mr. President, the CICC made mention through the chairperson, Senator Gatchalian, that it has regained momentum and was able to address these pending requirements at na-strengthen na po nila yung internal processes nila to enhance its absorptive capacity. And so today, Mr. President, at this juncture, may I respectfully move that we increase the budget of cybercrime prevention, investigation, and coordination program based on the letter that this representation also forwarded to the distinguished sponsor, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr.
So moved.
Mr. President, thank you. Indeed, we received the letter and the justification in this letter. And indeed, also that we had a very thorough discussion during the plenary debates about this necessity of ramping up or bolstering our capability in terms of addressing cybercrime and cybersecurity. So we will consider your proposals, Mr. Chairman, Your Honor, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, distinguished sponsor. Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, next is the Department of Labor and Employment. Again, I'm glad that the chairperson was the one defending the budget, and during the interpellations, also, Mr. President, we'd like to again state for the record the commitment given to us during the period of interpellations that we need really to increase the budget for job search assistance. Mr. President, the Department of Labor gave us a mas malaki, no? Mas malaki po yung hiningi nila, but we were looking at the absorptive capacity, Mr. President, and we feel that 60.969 million would be a good number to increase the budget for job search assistance. The justification, Mr. President, just to put on record, is that this is the department's job fair program, Mr. President. In fact, we discussed this thoroughly. It's a key initiative under the Philippine Development Plan 2023 to 2028, and it expands the access to employment by offering a wide range of opportunities, both full-time and part-time jobs, as well as internships and apprenticeships to meet the diverse needs and aspirations of Filipino job seekers. This is also, Mr. President, to put on record, pursuant also to the directive of the Office of the President, that the Department of Labor and Employment would conduct a monthly, at least monthly job fairs starting March of 2025. So, Mr. President, I think this is a very important amendment that the chairman also agreed with this representation, and will leave the amount, Mr. President, but again, the Department of Labor and Employment together with our office agreed, Mr. President, that 60 million is a decent amount, Mr. President.
Tama kayo,
I so move, Mr. President.
Tama kayo, Mr. President. And I remember during the plenary debates, there was also this concern about a slowdown in construction, in the construction industry. And it might affect 100,000 construction workers.
Yes.
I think His Honor was the one who brought that up. So this bodes well again to what's happening right now, and we will consider His Honor's proposal.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, distinguished colleague. Mr. President, let me go to my most favorite agency, the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority. Again, let me put on record that this representation is elated and excited when I found out that the chairman of EDCOM 2, the first chairperson, Senator Win Gatchalian, would defend the budget of TESDA. And during the interpellations of this representation, we also look at the proposal to increase the budget for promotion, development, and implementation of quality technical education and skills development programs in TESDA Central Office. The proposal of this representation is to increase it by 70 million, allocate, Mr. President, an amount of between 50 to 70 million, Mr. President, to support TESDA's ongoing digital transformation efforts. Particularly po, Ginoong Pangulo, yung activities identified in its submission to strengthen technology-driven training, assessment, and program development. Kasi hindi po nakasama yung ilan sa mga tinutukoy natin na, for example, development of AI-assisted tools for course and curriculum creation, yung digital platforms po for emerging technology skills training, nabanggit po ng ating chairperson, yung gig economy. Ang dami ng kailangan na po pwedeng gawin. Yung enhanced labor market analytics to better align yung TVET offerings with, of course, the industry demand na pag-usapan din po natin during the interpellations na dapat demand-driven, industry-driven. And this initiative, Mr. President, that we are introducing will help modernize the agency, the TESDA systems, by improving the speed of the quality training regulation updates. Kasi in the world of AI and robotics, alam natin, Mr. President, na mabilis magbago yung mga trade disciplines, Mr. President. Kaya kailangan talagang na-update natin yung training regulation. So this is the proposal of this representation to allocate funds for quality technical education and skills development programs para ma-promote at ma-develop po itong mga training regulations na to. I so move, Mr. President.
Maraming salamat, Senator Joel, and alam ko ito yung pinaka-paborito niyong ahensya. At alam ko hindi niyo pinapabayaan ho to, so we will also consider this proposal, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Maraming salamat po. Next, Mr. President, is the TESDA's Special Training for Employment Program. Marami pong mga kababayan natin hindi alam kung ano itong programa na to. Ito po ay community-based training program. Dinadala po yung TechVoc program sa iba't ibang komunidad at hindi lang po sila tinetrain, kung hindi sinisiguro na mabigyan sila ng assessment and certification. At pag sila ay na-certify, nagagamit po nila ito as a passport for employment. Pero meron pa pong isang napakahalagang input nitong proyekto na ito. Special Training for Employment Program. Hinasa ka na maging isang welder, naging welder ka, NC2, NC3 holder, pero ang kagandahan po nito, Ginoong Pangulo, binibigyan ng ahensya ng TESDA ang beneficiary ng sarili niyang toolkits. Kunyari po, kung ito ay welding, bibigyan siya ng welding machine. Yung pong bread and pastry, binibigyan po ng oven. Nang sa ganun po, makapagsimula po siya dun sa kanilang lugar, sa kanilang komunidad, nang hindi lang certified TESDA graduate, NC holder, kung hindi magkaroon siya ng hanap buhay dun sa kanyang komunidad. And that's why this representation would respectfully propose an amendment, Mr. President, sa volume number 1-A, page 1280, lines 35 to 36, between the words of and appropriated, delete the amount in words and in figures, yung 1,622,525,000, and replace it with 2,022,525,000 pesos. So the amended paragraph will now read as follows: special training for employment program, the amount of 2,022,525,000 pesos appropriated herein for the special training for employment program under the promotion, development, and implementation of quality technical education and skills development program shall be used for the conduct of community-based specialty training. So, ang proposal po natin ay mag-add ng additional funding of 400 million para po sa community-based training program na pag tinignan po natin ang lahat ng programa ng TESDA, ito ho talaga yung pinaka nararamdaman nila dahil may naiiwan pong toolkit sa kanila at ito po napapakinabangan nila na meron silang pagkakakitaan sa kanilang mga komunidad. I submit, Mr. President, I so move.
Thank you, Mr. President. The amendments are deemed submitted for consideration of the body, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, for the record, also when you talk about employment generation and job creation, alam po natin when we passed the enterprise-based education and training program, halos 90% or 92% if I'm not mistaken ay naha-hire pagka po sa ganitong modality. And the reason being is that they are already in the workplace, dun sila nate-train, kaya ho mabilis na naha-hire po yung mga estudyante po at parokyano ng enterprise-based education and training program. And so let me respectfully make a proposal to amend, Mr. President, volume number 1, IA, page 1281, between lines 3 and 4, insert a new paragraph to read as follows. Ito po, Ginoong Pangulo, before I read, Mr. President, ito po ay hindi additional funding, Mr. President. Ito po ay meron ng pondo at nais natin na i-allocate ang big chunk of the fund, Mr. President, dun sa sigurado tayong may employment. So, in this particular case, between lines 3 and 4, page 1281, insert a new paragraph of the amount appropriated herein, 100 million shall be used to support the implementation and expansion of enterprise-based education and training programs, including activities that strengthen enterprise partnerships, operationalize industry boards, and provide technical assistance to micro and small enterprises through support integrators. So yun po yung ating nais malagay as a provision dahil yung tulong trabaho fund na atin ding pinasa na budget para po dito, Mr. President, may earmark lang at least yung 100 million para sigurado na meron tayong mapoproduce na trabaho. At ito rin po galing din with the permission of the Secretary of TESDA, ito rin po ay galing din sa request ng Council, Mr. President, ng trabaho para sa bayan na Council, Mr. President, na humuhulma at bumabalangkas ng ating employment master plan ng ating bansa, Mr. President. I respectfully submit and so move, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Dito po sa tulong trabaho, meron tayong, under the committee report, meron pong 1.6 billion. Mr. President, just to let His Honor know about it. So we'll consider the proposal, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's just 100 million out of the 1.6 billion be allotted to a program that will ensure that we will be able to create jobs, Mr. President. Thank you. Mr. President, sa TESDA pa rin, Mr. President, page 1281, line 10, delete the amount in words and figures, 57,465,000, and replace it with 87,465,000 pesos. So the amended provision will now read 87,465,000 pesos to expand the number of accredited assessors. We discussed this, Mr. President, extensively during the period of interpellations and debate. No other than Secretary of TESDA admitted the shortage of assessors. We believe, Mr. President, that we need more assessors. If I recall it right, we only have about 16,000 assessors na nangangalaga sa lahat ng Pilipino sa buong bansa. And considering that we have a program now in TESDA na dinadala yung assessment centers sa iba't ibang panig ng daigdig. So again, the proposal of this representation is to increase additional 30 million lang naman po, Mr. President. Payat na payat po ito in the allocation of accreditation of additional assessors that aims to expand TESDA's assessment capacity nationwide and worldwide. I submit and so move, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, sa loob po ng committee report, meron ho tayong 57 million. Pero tama ho kayo na I think almost every year pinag-uusapan natin to sa TESDA budget. So, but ang maganda ho dito, yung inilagay natin for I think 2 years na, ay nagagamit to ng TESDA to create more assessors. No? So we will consider po your suggestion, Mr.
Thank
President.
you, Mr. President. Another for consideration, Mr. President, ito pong TESDA Scholarship Program. And I'm sure this is also close to the heart of our distinguished colleague, Senator Pia Cayetano. Yung for eligible incumbent child development workers, nais po nating i-propose doon sa page 1281 between lines 10 and 11, madelete po yung amount and figures na 226,895,000 pesos and replace it with 306,895,000 pesos. So the amended provision will now read scholarship program for eligible incumbent child development workers or CDWS, the amount of 306,895,000 pesos. Appropriated herein under the promotion, development, and implementation of quality technical education and skills development programs shall be used for the scholarship program of incumbent child development workers to equip them with the necessary competencies to deliver improved early childhood services pursuant to RA number 12199. In no case shall more than 2% of the total amount be used for administrative expenses. The justification, Mr. President, is to the increase of 80 million in the allocation would help promote the professionalization of the CDW workforce and strengthen the delivery of early childhood care services across the country. And we look at this, Mr. President, na pag na-provide po natin yung targeted scholarship for CDWs with lower educational attainment, yung program po ay makakatulong para ma-raise yung competency levels and support ng ating pamahalaan to improve foundational learning and child development outcomes. Let me also put on record, ang binanggit po natin na proposal is just 80 million, but just to put on record, ang request po ng TESDA to this representation is 564 million, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman. So again, this representation submits to the wisdom of the chair. I so move, Mr. President.
Actually, doon po sa HGAB, hindi ho sila naglagay ng amounts ho dito. Pero po, tama ho kayo because this is a law already, yung ECCD law. And meron po doong provision on how to professionalize our child development workers. So naglagay po ang Senate through the Senate Committee report ng 226 million po para po ma-professionalize po natin yung child development workers natin.
But will the sponsor consider the proposal?
We'll consider this.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you, distinguished colleague. Now, Mr. President, let me talk about the issue of artificial intelligence upskilling. And we thoroughly discussed this during the interpellations on the budget of TESDA. May I propose, Mr. President, in page 1281 between lines 10 and 11 to insert a new provision to read as follows and renumber succeeding provisions accordingly. Acceleration of AI upskilling, the amount of 150 million pesos appropriated herein under the Training for Work Scholarship Program shall be used for the training, upskilling, and reskilling of Filipino learners, workers, and professionals in artificial intelligence, AI, and related technologies. The TESDA shall likewise strengthen partnership with industry, academia, and other government agencies to align AI skills development with labor market needs and national innovation priorities consistent with the national AI strategy. In no case shall more than 2% of the total amount be used for administrative expenses. Mr. President, may pondo na po ito and we are not asking for additional funds.